Dun 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 dun. Hello and welcome back to another episode of True Crime Metrix. We are in a super minute-saving rush today, guys. We have 24% of battery power, and we just can't charge the freaking Mac. Can you imagine? So we're going to take it as far as we can tonight, guys, with the part 2 of Georgia Cappleman's cross-examination of Charlie Adelson in the murder trial, first-degree murder trial, the trial of the first-degree murder of Professor Dan Markel, FSU, Florida State University, law professor, revered, from Toronto, and Harvard-educated, good citizen. You know what I was thinking today? What better testament to the man's character, resolve, skill, and what other qualities could we mention? These Adelsons, with all their money, with all their connections of power and wealth, with all their dirty fighting tactics, they still couldn't beat Professor Markel. And they still couldn't make Professor Markel back down. He was going to stand his ground and win this case and have Wendy's law license, have her disbarred from the, that's in some ways the greatest testament to the man's character, professionalism, and dedication to his work was the fact that the only way that the Adelsons could win with all of their power was to blow his head off. I mean, it's a shame that it came that far, but, I just thought it was a nice way to look at things, try and bring some good out of what happened to him. He was just a better lawyer than all of the Adelsons put together. And if he'd have been a dentist, I bet he'd have been a great one. Irene Butler, how you doing? Okay, we're not much time for an intro tonight, guys. We're going to dive right back into the split-second timing where we were. What do we present? Present, share screen, share monitor, browse, and this one. Roll tape, please.
Okay. You could have told her, Katie's down on her luck and I'm just going to be putting her on the payroll. I mean, you were making enough money. You could tell her to just write checks, couldn't you? Why'd you have to tell her it was an extortion from Latin King gang members?
Well, okay. At that time, I didn't know anything about the Latin Kings. But when I told her what happened, I was thinking that, it actually would be good if someone knows what happened in case I get killed, they at least know what direction to start looking in. So until that point, nobody even knew. So when she started questioning me, I just said, you know what, I'm going to tell you, but don't say a thing to Dad. Don't say a thing to Wendy. You got to promise me. I didn't want her to ever talk about this again. And that was the day.
Hey, Charlie, if you were worried about being killed by the Latin Kings, and no one knowing where to look, maybe you could tattoo on a really private area of your body, it was the Latin Kings. Or maybe a picture, like a tattoo picture of Luis Rivera on your left butt cheek, holding a gun, and and then a sign next to him with a little arrow that says it was him. You could have done that. You didn't have to tell your mother. You could have had the photo tattoo of Luis Rivera on your left butt cheek, and on the right butt cheek, an explanation about who did it. Yeah?
That she found out is when I got the checks.
What she doesn't say on the wire is, it's happening again. I was approached by another extortionist today. Does she say that?
No, she's talking very carefully.
And you say carefully, but isn't carefully the same thing as code?
Yeah, she was talking carefully, wasn't she? I mean, you know what, it would have been even more careful? Not making the phone call. What was that about? She's making the call All right, I could understand if she made the call thinking it was a Latin King gang member. Obviously, they're not going to be tapping the phones, right? I don't think they're that's part of the whole sort of, criminal underworld tech center, sort of common thing going on. So if she'd have phoned up Charlie and says, hey, look, I think a Latin king just came and wanted some money for someone who's in jail, I think it had to do with Dan, then, okay, that would still be stupid. But the fact that she was being careful on the phone suggests that she thought the FBI might be listening, because who else would be listening, right? So if you think that's a risk, don't make a phone call. You either go in person, and what's the whole thing about, well, we could be listened to in the Dolce Vita. Dolce Vita, they could be listening with a camera. Well, just write things down. Go on a walk, go to a really far away park bench on a big hill, and then start writing things down and showing it to each other. I think that's what Denise Williams and Brian Winchester used to do. They'd go to a remote location, pat each other down to check for wires. I mean, what a great element to your marriage that would be, huh? Every time you want to talk about something, you have to pat each other down. But yeah, she was really careful on the phone, that Donna. But what would have been even more careful? Not making the frickin' phone call.
No, they're two totally separate things. Do you know the difference?
You weren't really giving her money for a TV, were you?
Giving her money for a TV.
This TV is probably going to be about $5. Okay. I need you to bring cash tonight.
I wish she picked another object on planet Earth other than TV. But TV is code for absolutely nothing. There is no code in this case involving TV, and you keep circling and circling and circling TV, you're wrong.
Is it a coincidence that the repair of the TV that you bought Wendy as a divorce gift because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman is your sister's alibi for the murder, and then your mom brings up TV, first call on the wire?
It's not an alibi for a murder. She had a broken TV. You got to ask Lincoln who threw the remote at the TV.
Was it a coincidence? Is the TV thing a coincidence? That's what I hear you say.
Oh, that the repair.
Little top tip, guys. If you're ever involved in a murder conspiracy where you've got this clever little TV alibi, you need to have a contingency. You need to have a completely unused set of code words, as a backup that you've never used before. So just in case you're caught with the TV and you think something's going on, you can switch it up and say, yeah, that giraffe with the really long neck at the zoo, I think he's been snooping around. And the giraffe with the really long neck is code for FBI.
Repairman was there that day?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a coincidence for sure. There's a couple of coincidences in this case.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I said there's a couple of coincidences in this case. I mean, she had people send her an email to go buy a bottle of Bullet bourbon for their Stock the Bar party, and she was driving to a liquor store to buy a bottle of Bullet bourbon on that day at that time, and her friend sent the email, and you have the email and evidence. Is that a coincidence? Yeah, coincidences happen.
And you might not.
Yeah, I'm sure fancy fiction will tell me how she's read everything and knows in detail everything about that invitation and whether or not it's true, and that's wonderful because I rely on her for so much. But I haven't read everything, okay? But my thing is, it's completely fabricated. There is no invitation. Bullet bourbon. Please bring a bottle of Bullet bourbon. And then someone said, "Oh yeah, well the woman who was getting married is a what was it? A mortician or something." So they wanted a theme to their liquor that they were buying, and the theme was death. Stock the bar for our wedding and bring a bottle of something to do with death. So Wendy said, Wendy drew the short straw and got bullet. What other alcohol brands are there that are anything to do with death or murder? I can't think of any. Not a single one.
Be the right Katie talk. That doesn't seem to really fit with your theory of the case, does it? What was your explanation for that? Why you kept saying you might not be the right Katie? I mean, she's definitely the right Katie, right?
Absolutely. She knew it was. I was implying it was her. I was just trying to say, I'm not setting you up, but I need your help.
Okay. Let's try and walk through that one a second, okay? We have a little bit more time to work with these things than the jury. So he said on the phone, yeah, someone approached my mom and they said something about an ex-girlfriend, Katie. Obviously, I don't know if that's you, Katie, or another Katie or whatever. And so what he's saying now is that was him saying to Katie, I'm not setting you up. It could be you or it could be someone else. I'm not setting you up. It's just the most ridiculous thing ever. And if you're talking to Katie, and she said, never talk about this again. Well, if something like this happens, all bets are off with that, then we're going to be talking about it directly. It's going to be like, hey, do you know that extortion that your friend did? Well, another one's shown up. What the hell? I thought you were protecting me. I thought you were keeping it so the extortion didn't go up. Now it's going up. What is going on?
Call B your mom. You call your mom back and you say, probe her a little bit, and ultimately you say, you think someone's trying to blackmail you? That's crazy. Why does it sound like this is something that's new and unfathomable to you at that moment?
Well, because I wasn't even following what my mom was talking about on the first call. And on the second call, when she shocked me when she said that. And I'd been extorted before. Her saying to bring cash, everything just didn't sound right.
Could we play clip 4, please? This is from Dolce.
What? Sorry, from what?
Clip 4 from Dolce.
Okay.
Georgia Cappleman has a Chandler Halderson cup, guys.
Even if they had any evidence, the first words out of your mouth on this clip, even if they had any evidence. No, strike. The quote is, if you say, if they had any evidence, we'd have already gone to the airport. And I know you already testified about this, but does an innocent person say, if they had any evidence?
Right. Katie's saying it's the police, and I'm saying that we're innocent. They're not going to have any evidence to show we were part of something that we were part of. If we had any part of this, we'd be going to the airport right now. And I
Isn't
still say
it
the
true,
same
doctor,
thing.
that they're not going to have any evidence because you were careful?
No, because we weren't a part of this.
You were smart.
No, we weren't a part of this.
You walled yourself off from
I was
the
sure
killers.
they're not going to have.
I say this all the time, at least 30 times a day, Isn't it true, doctor, that they weren't going to have any evidence because you were careful? You were smart. You walled yourself off. It's classic. It's throwing back to Gregory Peck. It's every budding lawyer, attorney out there. Their dream is to say sentences in that format. It's as good as, I'll ask the questions, Mr. Adelson. It's a classic.
Evidence to show I did something I didn't do. So we're not running to the airport.
and you're untouchable, right?
No, we didn't do a murder. I wasn't part of a murder. There's no reason to run to the airport.
In the next clip, you're discussing what's going to happen if this person that did the bump goes to the police. And you're going through all these scenarios, these possibilities.
Wait, if he goes to the police?
Yeah, the blackmailer goes to the police. They're going to say, where's the weapon? And he's not going to know. He's just going to have hearsay, basically. Someone told me they did it. And it's not going to be enough to get the investigation anywhere. Why are you thinking through the possibility of the blackmailer going to the cops if the blackmailer doesn't have any dirt on you to take to the cops?
I wasn't thinking about the blackmailer. What I was trying to say is I don't know anything about Sigfredo. I don't know anything about this crime. I was trying to tell her that I'm harmless. I don't have any knowledge of what went on. Like, the last thing I wanted is that now that she's saying it's the police, is someone to come and kill me and think I'm some kind of loose end. So that's why I'm saying that.
But that's not what you're saying. You're saying if this is a person that Luis Rivera ran his mouth to, and they go to the police, it's going to be worth zero because they're not going to know anything other than, hey, my brother told me this.
I don't know if I was saying some.
C. Malone asks, is dulce an ice cream flavor? Sorry, I'm new here. No, dulce means sweet in Spanish. Dolce Vita, sweet life. That's the name of the coffee shop or whatever it was. Restaurant.
Someone who knows Luis Rivera. I was trying to make a point that I don't know anything.
And then you suggest what they would have to do is get him to wear a wire and get the person to confess. And that's probably what this could be, an effort to do, right?
Well, they're thinking that we were part of a murder. So that's.
Hi, Christina. Get those comments coming in. We love them.
This was the same thing I said before, is that this is their theory. So this is a police tactic, and it could be either a bad guy or the police. And this is how they're pursuing it.
Exactly. So as long as you keep your mouth shut, you can get away with murder, right?
No, not at all.
Isn't that what you told Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No, Ryan Fitzpatrick is someone who stole over $500,000 from me.
That's not my question, sir.
Sorry.
Did you say that to Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No, never. Never at all.
Wow, he's burning about that Ryan Fitzpatrick, isn't he? Maybe we should cover Ryan's testimony. I think I've only watched it once.
Why do you go into so much detail about rental car examples? Let's start with, strike that. Can you agree that the Prius you knew?
Hard day building a file upload feature. Are you a coder, Christina?
That the police were looking for a Prius at the time you met at this Dolce Vita restaurant.
I think it had been released at that time.
All right, and you heard the recording. You're arguing. Let's play the clip. This is going to be clip. I think let's play 7 and 8, please. Dolce.
Hey, nice. Yeah, I do that too. Not right now. I'm doing something else, but I'm a programmer. Laravel me up. Love Laravel.
The fact is, it's like, even if, let's say, my car, and then I go ahead and I do fine, and I go, and you're dating the car, I go, yeah, she was in my car, and she got out, and she did this horrible crime. Okay, they come and they get the DNA in the car, they go, no, she was in my car. No, he sat in the car for 2 minutes, got an EAC, and they got out of the car. He has nothing to do with you guys murdering people. Outside of that, there's no evidence. Okay? You know, if you have a car and you can link this person to renting that car and okay. But you have to prove that they were also driving that day and rented it and lent it to a friend. What if you rented
Why is he always robbing Burger King or McDonald's in these little anecdote stories of his? I mean, that doesn't even normally happen, does it? I mean, does it? You never hear of a Burger King or a McDonald's. It's like a gas station or a liquor store.
Okay, thanks. Said if you rented it, but what if you were fucking out all weekend and didn't even know I took your car? I did something and I brought it back.
Well, yeah, Charlie, the problem with your analogy is that that would all have to be explained and, you know, proven to the police. They're going to be looking into you. If it's your car that you've rented, they're going to be talking to you. Okay. And if you say, no, I did rent the car, but I lent it to a friend. They're going to say, which friend was it? Just any friend. I think they live down that road, at the end of the road. Do you remember Letitia Stouch with when she was telling people where Gannon went, and she was like, yeah, he came home from school and he went on a play date. And the cops were like, okay, this play date, where was it? With a friend of his from school. Okay. And where do they live? In the neighborhood.
Okay. My point is, I don't have any knowledge. Evidently, this person is pretending to or does. I don't want someone paying to
It sounds like you're saying even if they track down the Prius, even if there's DNA or fingerprints in the Prius, meaning like they can link someone to the Prius, that's not going to be enough evidence to make any arrests in this case. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. What I'm doing is I'm restating.
You've answered my question.
Can I give you an
On redirect, you'll have an opportunity.
Well,
my question was.
One moment.
My question
We're not
was-
just wildly arguing. Mr. Adelson, please answer the question.
okay.
I
Please
can
allow,
just ask you a yes or no question.
please allow me to
and
answer your question.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Help yourself out.
What I was saying to Katie is that the information she had just told me in the car about Sigfredo not being there when the crime was committed, she told me that Sigfredo was high on drugs at the hotel and that Luis had rented a car and that he's the one who.
Oh my God, Sigfredo was high on drugs at the hotel, and Lewis had rented a car. I mean, they're just doing drugs and renting cars all weekends. What shady Cuban characters these guys are.
Who killed Dan. And I'm restating to her that I don't have any knowledge of what went on, and that all I know is that Sigfredo wasn't even there when this happened. So that's what I'm restating to her.
That Sigfredo can't be caught even if he's connected to the crime, to the car.
I know that Sigfredo.
Yeah, so to show Katie that I'm not speaking to police, we acted like we were being careful from the police. And that was all an act so that she would know that I wasn't talking to the police. It's just fucking ridiculous. What are you talking about? It's like, it's the worst lie ever. It wouldn't even work in a situation that didn't matter, right? Everyone's just looking at you going, well, this is obviously not true. We can see you working through the justification bit by bit by bit, trying to make sure that all your bases are covered, really trying to look like you're being open and recounting, which people don't recount like that, stuttering, it's like facts. Sigfredo was at the hotel, high on drugs, and hired a car. So that's the story I was telling, No. I had heard from Luis Rivera that Sigfredo Garcia wasn't even there. And he was high on drugs in the hotel.
wasn't the one who killed Dan.
Okay.
And these little twists to the story where they've made it so that it looks like he's not just excusing actions that he can be and is being accused of, right? Like, no, I didn't plot the murder. That's a big lie. But then he's got these things that make it look like he's volunteering information, right? Saying Sigfredo wasn't the one who killed Dan. And it wasn't $100,000. It was $138,000. It's like, the state didn't know that. The state don't know anything. They got it wrong.
Wouldn't it be good for you?
Doesn't he actually say at one point that it's good for him to... It's good for him. It's good that he now has the opportunity to give the Markel parents, Ruth and Phil, the complete truth about what happened to their son. What the nerve. Just the nerve of the man. Yes, now they will know the complete truth.
No, now that Sigfredo is the extortionist, right? She just told you that in the car?
Sigfredo, yeah.
Okay. And wouldn't it be good for you if the police investigation into the Prius led to the arrest of the killers/extortionists?
If they arrested the people who killed Dan,
Yeah.
I know the extortion would stop. As long as I kept my mouth shut, I'd be safe.
Right. So why are you trying to argue to her that, like, the car is not going to lead anywhere? They're not going to be able to do anything with the car.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I know that Sigfredo wasn't the one who killed him.
Did you say on this recording, if they're a bad guy, there's two ways of dealing with it? Go ahead and contact the police. They'll contact him, the blackmailer, and arrange a setup. Take him down and he'll proffer 10 years and now tell us everything you know or else you're going to serve 10 years in prison.
Good news, guys. We got the battery charging. Got it. It already got down to 14% from 24. We've only been going 27 minutes, but now we're plugged in. We're plugged into the ozone, baby.
Next thing you know, this person is singing. He's calling out your name. My parents are going to have to tell the story of what happened. Singing about what? About the extortion?
No, I think you're reading it wrong. Or I know the audible is bad.
What would
Are those the words?
Yes, sir. What would the extortionist, and now I'm referring to the one that contacted your mother.
The Latin King extortion.
Well, they're both Latin kings, right?
The second extortion.
What would they have to sing about?
The second extortion would be singing and talking about the first extortion, where they learned their information from.
Who cares? That doesn't have anything to do with you.
Do you remember yesterday when Georgia was like, okay, so if the Latin kings wanted to extort you for $250,000, couldn't they just do that by threatening your life? How did killing Dan Markel advance the ball for them when they still just threatened your life or someone in your family's life? And he didn't have an answer. It would have been better if he said the Latin kings knew that we wanted Dan dead, and they knew that I'd told that joke. So they said, we've killed Dan, and we'll make it look like it was you and your family unless you play ball. You know, that would have been so much better for the lie, for the reality, for the jury. I just think he missed a trick there. He had time to think about it.
Well, when they catch the first extortion, Katie's tied to them and I'm tied to Katie. They're going to come talk to us, and we're going to be in danger when we tell them what happened. So I was saying if they catch the second, they're going to turn in on the first. And that's the same thing I said yesterday.
You gave very precise instructions to Catherine Magbanua on what she was to say when she calls the phone number, right?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Absolutely.
And then you say, quote, "You'd better kill him because he's going to be a big problem. And he knows who you are. If he can't do it, I'll have someone else do it." Aren't you telling her that if Garcia can't handle this problem and kill whoever's behind this, you will have someone else do it?
You're reading it totally wrong.
It's a yes or no question, sir.
No, you're wrong.
When Dan Markel's murder was taking too long to happen, didn't you tell Catherine Magbanua that if she couldn't get it done, you would find someone else to do it?
No, I've never said that either.
And then you say in the recording, I'm back to Dolce now. Yeah, and guess what? When the effing police show up and there's a doctor, there's an oral surgeon standing there with a dead gang member in his effing driveway, they're not going to come down too hard on me. So you knew you'd be believed if you went to the police, right?
I didn't know I'd be believed, but I fear for my life.
And then you say, "So help me God, if they fuck with my family, it's going to be fucking Nazi shit because this will be done." You know what I'm saying? I mean, Katie, I don't care what I spend, okay? I swear to God. What is Nazi shit?
That's an expression that Katie would use to describe someone that's going crazy. I think the Nazis were absolutely crazy people. So I'm saying I'm going to get somebody to go crazy on the guy that's trying to extort my mom for money. I'll pay someone to go.
Yeah, the Nazis were crazy people, and Katie would use this expression synonymous with crazy, Nazi crazy, and the Nazis were crazy.
Threaten him and to scare him. I was not talking about killing anybody.
Well, you say the word kill. Yes?
No. Oh, when you're putting the words in my mouth, well, we can
No,
do that
sir.
sentence.
Do you say the word kill?
I'm talking about if Sigfredo's coming after you, he's such a dangerous guy, you'd have to kill him to stop him. That's the only thing you could do. Not talking about killing the extorter. I'm talking second extortion.
Okay.
I'm saying that if Sigfredo's coming after you, the only thing that you could do is you have to kill him to stop him. I'm not talking about killing anybody. I'm talking about that's the only way that you could stop Sigfredo from coming after you is you would have to kill him. And that's exactly what I said there.
Yeah, Sigfredo is a bit like Hitler, you know, a Nazi Hitler, Sigfredo, Adolf Garcia. That's what they call him in the Cuban neighborhood.
You're wrong. That's exactly what I said.
All right. Thank you. Nazis kill, right? Isn't that like their primary objective?
No, I think Nazis are insane, crazy people.
That exterminate, right?
That kill, yes, but they're crazy. That was an expression she would use, and that's when I used it to her, but basically saying I'm going to have someone go crazy on this guy. I could have used the word crazy. I thought it was interchangeable.
Isn't what
I
you're doing?
thought it was interchangeable. I just, you could change one for the other. We're going to get someone to go crazy on this guy. It's going to be fucking Nazi shit. You know? And he's Jewish. This family and their Nazi thing. I mean, do they have like uniforms with swastikas in their house? They dress up.
Doing here in this portion of the tape, feeling her out to make sure Garcia doesn't have any bad feelings toward you.
When I said it, yeah, I thought he could have been behind the second extortion. I think I've said that before.
And you go into like how your relationships didn't overlap. You never disrespected him. And you mentioned that, you don't think that I assume you mean these other people, associates that have contacted your mom would want to mess with his connections, right? You remember?
You're talking about the copycat extortion.
Right. And then you ask, if he's too far removed, or can he still make a call? Are you referring to Garcia in that?
Yeah, exactly.
So can Garcia make a call to try to figure out who this is?
Garcia helped stop the second extortion. Someone's doing a piggyback extortion on the first. That's exactly what I said.
On the topic of conversation for Captain Magbanua, don't you say, I look for things to do? I show you, that's the difference. You don't ask me for shit. You said all those things. Right?
Absolutely, because that's proving what I've been saying all along is that I didn't think she was part of this. So I was doing things to keep her happy from time to time. Ethan's birthday, I brought up there. I gave her $300. I helped her out with the car when her car was broken, for sure.
And then you say, listen, you giving somebody money is not an admission.
Yeah, our relationship got closer after the extortion, and I was giving her $3,000 a month, and her friends wanted to kill me. We our bond thickened, and I wanted to keep her happy because I knew that this tiny little woman was keeping these thugs at bay.
Of any kind of guilt. Would paying the money have made her look guilty?
That's what she was saying to me. Is she said it's the police. You can't pay the police. They're going to think you were part of a murder and they're going to arrest you.
But if it was an extortionist, it could have created a monster, right?
And if you don't pay the extortionist, you could get killed.
So when
Or you
these
could keep getting
guys,
extorted.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said if you don't pay the extortionist, you could get killed, or you could keep getting extorted.
But your main concern was that if we pay, this guy will think I'm an ATM machine, right? He'll keep coming back again and again and again. Don't you articulate that to Catherine Magbanua?
If it was an extorter, that was one of the concerns. And the other concern was not paying him and getting killed.
But what you say is, well, I don't remember the quote exactly. The main concern, what I'm most worried about, is that they're going to keep coming back for more, right?
I don't remember using the word the main concern.
But what you don't say in here is like what you or your homies have been doing to me for 2 years.
Of course not. I don't want her to think I'm setting her up.
Why are you explaining extortion and how extortion works to Catherine Magbanua?
In there?
Yeah.
Because I know.
But she knows too, doesn't she?
So I repeat myself. I do that.
You also explain it to your mother how extortion works, and has known about it for 2 years too, right?
From what I told her, yeah. I'm reminding her.
Then you say, if someone's messing with you, they're messing with me. And if someone's messing with me, they're messing with you. It's one and the same, right?
Yes, I said that.
You're in this together, right?
We're both innocent.
Hi, Amy Bowen from California. Let's guess where she is in California. I don't know. Reading?
You were very obviously relieved on the wire when you came to the conclusion that this was law enforcement. Would you agree with that?
Very relieved, yeah.
All right. And at that same time that on the wire you're expressing relief, or I should say, shortly after all the relief expressed on the wire, we've got the arrest of Catherine Magbanua, right?
No.
No. Okay. Would you agree that it goes relief on the wire, then arrest of Catherine Magbanua?
Do you want to give me dates? Because Kathy was arrested 6 months later.
Okay.
The wire
Can we
was in
agree
April.
that
Did he just say Kathy?
arrest of Catherine Magbanua?
Do you want to give me dates? Because Kathy was arrested 6 months later.
Okay.
The wire
Can we
was in
agree
April.
that
She was
you were
arrested in
very
October.
relieved on the wire and that 6 months later, Catherine Magbanua was arrested.
She was arrested 6 months later, correct?
And 6 months later, after you were completely relieved on the wire, you begin to exhibit these extreme behavior changes that we've heard about. And what is your explanation for that?
Because I thought I'd be falsely arrested.
Did you encourage Catherine Magbanua to reconcile with Garcia? That's a yes or no.
Yes, for sure I did.
Was that a good decision for her or a good decision for you?
Neither.
You've heard your lawyer say that you talk a lot. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
And you talk a lot on the wire, right?
Yes, I do.
Do you agree you're not a direct person?
My direct person?
There's a lot of circular talking on the wire.
I mean, however you want to describe my mannerisms of talking, you're welcome to describe them.
Oh, look at him, so righteous. Is she picking on you, Charlie? Is she saying you talk weird and funny?
I'll do that in closing. What I'm asking is, do you?
Oh, little sparring session there, and he knew that he just took a jab. Look at him. I'll do that in closing. Love it.
My direct person?
There's a lot of circular talking on the wire.
I mean, however you want to describe my mannerisms of talking, you're welcome to describe them.
I'll do that in closing. What I'm asking is, do you agree that you are like that?
I think at times I'm direct, for sure.
Do you have a way of saying things without really saying it?
No, I think I'm pretty direct with things.
Do you think you can talk your way out of this?
No, I don't. I'm not part of a murder.
Who are they going to believe, right? An oral surgeon or a gangster?
That's extorting me in my driveway and coming and threatening me?
You're untouchable, right?
No, I'm not part of this murder. Yeah,
There was a
well,
lot of talk about going to the police on the wire, which I think we've well established did not happen. But you've always gone to the police before, right?
I've had other things that I've gone to the police for, yeah.
You've gone to the police in reference to something to do with your child's mother? Yes or no?
Yes.
You've gone to the police when you were threatened to be blackmailed over something with a woman back in 2015. Remember that?
No, I didn't go to the police.
Did you send a letter from your lawyer indicating that describing her actions as an attempted shakedown and indicating that not only will Dr. Adelson never pay a settlement, he will undoubtedly prevail and seek attorney's fees against your client?
Right. That's a civil complaint, and somebody was making an unfounded civil complaint and threatening filing a lawsuit, and an attorney handled the civil complaint. The police were never notified, but it was a civil suit.
It was somebody trying to shake you down for money.
It was a unfounded claim from a civil suit to me and another dentist that it was involving.
It was a claim that potentially had criminal implications as well, wasn't it, doctor?
For me?
Yes.
No. There was never a police investigation with that.
In 2018, did you report an aggravated assault where a vehicle was driving?
I think he really messed up someone's face on a cosmetic, what do you call it? Aesthetic dentistry. That was their subheading to the Adelson Institute. Periodontics and aesthetic dentistry. In other words, just for show. Yeah, and he really messed up someone's face. I think he broke their jaw or something. I think he was actually a really incompetent dentist. The only reason he was popular is it because he gave his patients an amount of drugs that no ethical dentist would. Right? So they're in there completely flying, numb, going, yeah, this is great. You come out of there, you feel great, and your jaw feels amazing.
Aggressively and narrowly avoided striking you.
I had a reporter almost kill my 10-week-old puppy dog that I was walking because I was going for a walk in the morning and he was stalking outside my house.
In 2018, did you report an aggravated assault where a vehicle was driving aggressively and narrowly avoided striking you?
He was more able to hit my dog too, but yeah.
Do your nephews deserve to know the whole truth about who killed their father?
Yeah, now they do.
Do Danny's parents deserve to know what happened to their son?
Absolutely.
And you say you knew. I mean, you now say you knew a big piece of what happened, right?
Do those weird Canadian Jews deserve to know what happened to that weirdo Markel?
Yes.
Do you feel bad about not volunteering that to Danny's parents?
I feel a sense of relief that now I was able to tell everybody what finally happened.
Yesterday, almost 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
And that's because you didn't just know a big piece of it. You were a big piece of it, weren't you, Doctor?
Oh,
I was extorted and
I sense she's coming to the end of Cross. You didn't just know a big piece of it, did you, Doctor? You were a big piece of it.
I knew a lot, yeah.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Before we redirect, do any of the
No
members of
further
the jury
questions.
need to take a break before we?
Okay. That was George's big moment with Charlie Adelson. Now, back to Rashbaum. But before we move on, guys, if anyone out there would like to support the channel and help us grow, you can leave a like, leave a comment, share the video, or you can send a super chat, a super sticker, a super thanks. There's also a link to buymeacoffee.com where you can buy us a coffee.com at True Crime Metrix.
We continue
Link in the description, guys.
with the examinations. The bailiff will escort you back to the jury room. We'll have a brief 10-minute break before we have a redirect.
He doesn't look that flustered, does he? He's hoping that Rashbaum's going to come in now like a superhero and spin it all around. Just throw out George's line of questioning. What's he going to say? He's going to say, "Did you ever want Professor Markel to be shot? Did you have anything to do with the death of Professor Markel?" What's the betting? He's going to say something like, okay, so let's clear this up right now. We're going to clear this up right now. I can't wait. Hopefully he's got a little bit more pep than last time. Hopefully he's going to build on George's energy a bit. God, his direct line of questioning was just so flat. Why I fell asleep, quite frankly. It's a great opportunity to go and leave a like on the video, guys, or share the video with a friend, a colleague, a pet, any pet, but not a reptile pet. They can't be trusted. Look at him maintaining his furrowed brow. He's got a big forehead, hasn't he? It's like a whiteboard. We could take notes on that thing. If the court reporter needs to remember any, does anybody know that Harvey Keitel started out as a court stenographer and did it for like 10 years? Harvey Keitel. Imagine that. What has Christina got for us today? She had to get DNA and take him to court. I must have missed something there. Oh. Oh, it's about Matilda's comment. Matilda Yeager says, I wonder why he went to the police about his son's mom. Does anybody know? And then Christina says, Matilda, it was something about harassment, and he was trying to avoid child support, I think. Of course he was. Have you seen June Umchinda's walrus teeth? Charlie is like the dentist from the movie Marathon Man. Wow. Yeah, played by Laurence Olivier. That was a scary part of the film, huh? Is it safe? Is it safe? Hands up if you've seen Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman. Good score, Jibs and Jabs. Yeah, C. Malone. Fancy is not going to let us down. She's in the courtroom looking erudite as ever. God, I'd just love to do a study session with her. You know, not on criminology, just on like, you know, some normal subject. Only 2 likes. I gotta verify that, Rabbit. That can't be right. We usually have 50% without sweating a breath. I gotta double check this. Hang on, guys. This is important. I feel abandoned. No, we have 16 likes, but we need a few more, guys. So hey, listen, the jury's had a 10-minute break. You guys take a break and leave a like on the video. Jeez. Okay, ready? Wow, we don't often get to see the back of his head, do we? Look at that. What a mess.
You be seated.
Mind you, Sarah Dugan could have been a bit tidier with her hair today. She looks like the lead cheerleader.
Members of the jury, I was informed by an unnamed source that some baked goods have made their way into the jury room. If there is a red velvet cake and no one brought enough to share, contempt powers will be exercised. Mr.
You see what I mean? I mentioned this the other day. The judges are handed a little book when they become a judge that gives them a list of jokes to tell to the jury, you know, and it's always about food. We've got to cover the Trevor Summers trial, which was amazing, really interesting case. He represented himself, which was a terrible idea, but the judge was fantastic. Judge Christopher Sabella out of Tampa Bay, out of, what county? Yeah.
Rauschbaum, you may redirect your client.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you remember when Miss Cappleman asked you about that text on
Hillsborough County. Judge Christopher Sabella from Hillsborough County.
August 25th, 2014, when Katie said to lose her number? Do you remember those questions?
Yeah.
Isn't it true that within 12 hours of that text, you're offering her help on her car with an individual named Sully?
Yes, I remember that.
Why are you offering her that help just within hours after that text?
Because I wanted to keep Katie happy, and she was getting mad at me, and I needed her protection. I didn't want her to stop protecting me.
Now, there was a lot of questions about timing, and I want to make sure that everyone has this clear because it's really important. In 2014, did you think Catherine Magbanua was extorting you?
No, not at all.
Now, after she went to trial and testified, and after you saw the evidence of the money that was in her accounts, did you know that you were wrong and in fact she was the person who was extorting you, either with Sigfredo or without him?
Yeah, and that wasn't until 2019, 5 years later.
So when Miss
Hey, Leslie B., good to see you. Looking good.
Cappleman shows you all of those text messages and emails in 2014 that seem friendly.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, and in 2016, that seemed friendly, and all the gifts. At that point in time, what did you think she was?
I thought she was protecting me, and she got dragged into this the way I did.
C. Malone, thanks so much for the super chat. Super duper chat. Yeah, we love it. Thanks a lot, man.
Now, do you remember when Miss Cappleman showed you that indictment?
Yes.
And it had your name on it and Catherine Magbanua's name on it as co-conspirators?
Yeah.
Do you remember when she directly asked your sister in this courtroom if she participated in a birthday gift for your dad of the murder of Professor Markel?
I remember her asking that.
So her name's not in that indictment, but were you in this courtroom when the first thing in opening the state put on the board was a picture of all of you, because their theory is that all of you participated in this murder, right?
Yeah, they said me, my mom, my dad, my sister.
And
Look at him looking confused at why anyone would possibly think that. Yeah, they put up a picture of the family and how we were connected to Dan, and it was like, it was really cleverly done. It was like a 2-hour Dateline special with autopsy photos. That's what it was. And Georgia Cappleman had help making her PowerPoint.
theory is wrong about your sister, correct?
100%.
Just like it's wrong about you.
100%.
Behavior panel are like, yeah, he's shaking his head no with an affirmative answer yes. 100% big shake.
Now, Ms. Cappleman asked you about you paying over time as opposed to just paying the money all up front. Why did you pay over time?
The reason I didn't pay it all off is because it became like a life insurance policy. And I felt like every month when I paid, I felt like they weren't going to kill me.
Yeah, Stevie Love says that she was about to say that she loves Sarah Dugan's Messy Pony. She's a busy lady. I quite like it too. It's a little raunchy.
Because if they killed me, they wouldn't get the money next month.
Ms. Cappleman asked you, does it make sense? Why
It's bedhead. You know what I'm saying?
wouldn't they just rob you? Remember she asked you that question?
Yeah.
Were you in the courtroom? Do you recall when you were in the courtroom? Do you recall Luis Rivera saying he just wanted to rob the lady? Do you recall that?
Yes.
And do you recall he said that Sigfredo Garcia told him?
Sometimes I think Daniel Rashbaum doesn't think the jury can see him. He looks at them way too much, but not in a way that seems like he's communicating with him. He really looks like he's watching for signs that they're going to be nodding along, yes, Katie was the extortionist, yes, because Filipinos can't be trusted, yes.
That Katie told him, we can't just rob the lady. We have to do a murder.
Yes.
Now, you don't know. You were told in the car that Luis Rivera was the killer. You've learned since that Sigfredo Garcia was the shooter, right?
I learned that he was convicted of shooting Dan. But in 2016, when I was sitting in the car, Katie was telling me that he went up in the rental car and that he was high on drugs and that it was Luis Rivera, the head of the Latin Kings, that killed Dan.
She was protecting her husband.
Yeah, that's what she was telling me. At the time, I thought she wasn't a part of it, and she was telling me the truth.
Now, Ms. Cappleman asked you about other times that you have called the police since this case began.
Right.
Well, not since this case began, but
Look at that on the screen, guys. Good old C. Malone has opened the floodgates of super stickers. And now the donations will be rolling in. They'll be rolling right in. So dig deep, friends. Dig deep.
since the events of this case. She asked you about a photographer in a car. She asked you about a woman who's the child of the mother of your child when you called the police. In either of those circumstances, was someone threatening your life?
No, not at all.
In either of those circumstances, was someone threatening your family's life?
Not at all.
In either of those circumstances, had within hours before someone been shot in broad daylight in their driveway?
No, not at all.
By the way, you're heard on the wire about at some point your jet ski getting stolen, right?
Yes.
And do you recall what you say on the wire about your jet ski getting stolen?
I said I don't even want to catch the people.
Well, I'll ask it a different way. When your jet ski was stolen, did you call the police?
Objection, relevance.
I
Sustained.
Judge.
May continue.
May we go sidebar, Judge?
Approach.
Oh, we got some big comment threads happening on Sarah's ponytail. Leslie B says, I like Sarah's messy pony too. I doubt she got much sleep during this trial, which brings me to ask how in this trial 2 weeks for Charlie and Karen Reed's could be over 2 months. I need to read that again. How is this trial 2 weeks for Charlie and Karen Reed could be over 2 months? Well, it's Massachusetts. They probably, have more paperwork to do or something. I don't know. Plus all of their corruption to take care of. Maybe. Who knows, huh? Who knows? Haven't really started digging deep into the Karen Reed case. I did refresh my memory about it the other day, but I haven't watched any of the trial. Frankly, I just don't know about Massachusetts cases. You know, certain states really do it for me. Florida, of course. Wisconsin, although you get really interesting cases out of Wisconsin, but the actual proceedings are a little weird. You know, I don't like that the attorneys all stay seated when they're questioning the witnesses and addressing the judge. I want standing attorneys in my trial. But we're going to be covering the Ezra McCandless case soon, guys. That's out of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And yeah, really interesting case, and a really mental testimony from the accused, Ezra McCandless.
You may continue with your examination.
Call your jet ski getting stolen?
Yes.
Did you call the police when your jet ski got stolen?
No.
So if you don't want to miss the Ezra McCandless case, guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification because everything we do is live, and you do not want to miss a live show because then you're not in the conversation with everyone else. Look how busy the chat room is.
Why not?
Because I didn't want the people who knew where I lived to come back if I put them in prison.
Sorry, you know, I definitely need two screens, one for the chat and one for the video, because I keep reading the chat and not looking at the video. But I just want to comment on Amy Bowen's fancy fiction behind Rash. Listen, Amy, I want everybody in the chat to go over to Fancy Fiction, drag her out of her YouTube channel, bring her here, and make her leave a comment on the show. You know, some people say, oh, Fancy Fiction would love your show. Others say, this show is nothing on Fancy Fiction. I want to know what Fancy Fiction thinks. But before we ask her, I want her to understand that, you know, we are just live channel. There's no preparation. There's no notes. You know, I bought a notebook and some two different colored pens for my notes on the Sarah Boone case that got postponed again until October 7th. Yeah, but I really think it's time for Fancy Fiction to come over to the show. Maybe I need to make some short form content. You know, maybe she doesn't have time to watch 3 hours like all of you dedicated Metrix fans.
Now, Ms. Cappleman asked you several questions about why now are you telling what really happened. Tell the jury why you're now telling what happened.
If I don't tell everyone what happened now, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison for something I didn't do.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Step down, Mr. Adelson.
Oh, that's it. See, if I was Rashbaum, I'd have made a bigger end to that. And now he's just running off the stand like a rabbit. Sorry, rabbit. Not like you, rabbit.
The attorney is going to approach again on a brief matter.
Yeah, listen to Neverly Darling. She says, like, subscribe, and share the videos across social platforms, peeps. Let's help Metrix out, and thanks. Great, great advice. Great advice. But also, guys, do you think I should be running like a Twitter or a Facebook page? I mean, these things exist, but do I need to be like, doing stuff on there? Do people want that? Does that have any benefit, or is it just a fancy thing that some people do? I mean, so we could have a Facebook page and a Twitter account or X works, whatever. What else could we have? We've already got the Discord. By the way, guys, link in the description. Open link in the description. It's free. Discord. Join the conversation. You know, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hey, Tracy Lee, thanks so much for the super sticker. That's your second or third this week. Very nice of you. Very appreciated. Very thank you. So who's next? We're going to have another witness? Well, it all seems to be just like the Law and Crime Network going through and rewatching certain parts of the testimony. I don't think we need to watch that. What can we watch? What else can we watch? We could watch... I'm trying to remember another good witness from this Charlie Adelson case. Or we could go and do a little bit of Chris Watts. What are people thinking, guys? I need to catch up with the chat.
All right, members of the jury, I have news that's going to make you terribly sad. Well, before I give that, Mr. Rauschbaum, do you have any other witnesses you intend to call?
No, Judge, we rest.
Does the state plan to call a rebuttal case at this time?
No, Your Honor.
With both parties having rested their cases, I am going to release you for the afternoon to return on Monday. I know, shocked faces. With that, once again, I'm going to give you the same instruction. Do not discuss the case with each other or anyone else. Do not watch any news coverage.
I think all judges should be that big. He's as big as a house. Look at him.
Do not find out any information concerning this matter. Again, this is going to be extremely important in reaching the end of this case. This instruction is being given to you for a very specific reason of not causing a mistrial by taking in information that did not take place in this courtroom. I know everyone before has agreed to abide by this and also related that you understood this instruction, but the reason I keep repeating it is because it's that important. Have a good weekend. We will see you Monday morning for closing arguments. Please report at 8:30.
Leslie B says Metrix has a crush. Who do I have a crush on? Georgia Cappleman, obviously. So they're closing it up for the... No, Rabbit, there's no recross unless... what is the law? What is the procedure with that? Unless
Everyone can be seated.
the rebuttal went into a new area.
No. The donuts, no interest. There's gotta be something good. All right, for the attorneys, we'll go ahead and go into recess now. When we come back from lunch, we will have the charge conference on the jury instructions. The initial draft that's been sent to everyone, both parties have it.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Other than what's already been sent, did either party request additional instructions?
The state has not.
Nor does the defense know.
All right. There was one.
Mongeezy gives a shout out from Houston. On the lookout for our soon-to-be resident Wendy. Nah, she's going to Austin, man.
One other instruction that came to mind, given all the discussion about intent and context, within standard instruction 13.
Imagine that, seeing Wendy in Walmart. Not Walmart. She doesn't shop at Walmart. Whole Foods.
Point 1, there's a definition that defines intent. I've previously given it in murder trials as a standalone instruction.
Yeah.
Which basically would give the jury.
That's good idea, Rabbit. You see, that's why your top viewer or number one viewer, number one fan, June. Yes. I have no argument against that. Sorry, Matilda. We'll come back to Ryan. Let's do June. Now, should we do June in order? Or should we do the latest? Let's do the latest one, because I love it when her phone goes off, you know. And I like her white suit. It's a fine suit. Okay, let's do some searching. Let's do some searching for June. June Umchinda testimony, 2023. Do I have anything against June? I mean, not really. They've got the other ones up there. Where's the 2023? Oh, I thought she was in a white suit. That must have been...
No.
Oh, there was Lacasse again. Sweaty and puffy. Not listening.
You're good. You may.
All right, you're in the courtroom.
Bear with us, guys. Good opportunity to go and leave a like on the video, though, huh?
And
Did you enjoy your tour of the courthouse?
I've been here like twice before.
I mean, every single, you can see the judge nodding along. He's making a funny comment that, you know, is kind of like, listen, you're late, but it's okay. All right. But I'm the judge. He's like, did you enjoy your tour of the courthouse? And she thinks that's a genuine question. I've been here twice before. You know.
Did you enjoy your tour of the courthouse?
I've been here like twice before.
Judge might as well have just said, okay. Hey, old Pueblo Hops has got a good idea too. Jail call. Maybe we should do a jail call after June. Yeah. I think June was just looking at that camera, the cloak around that camera, and wondering if it was wearing the same outfit as she is. Look, she's looking at that cloak on that camera, thinking, is that what I look like?
You're good.
I'm gonna sit.
You're good. You may.
All right, you're entering the courtroom.
She's like a little girl guide, isn't she? You know, just has no idea what's going on at all.
Everyone but the witness may be seated. Please raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
You may take your seat.
Ma'am, please state your name and spell your name.
Hi, I'm June Umchinda. It's June, first name, last name Umchinda.
You don't have to, I don't think you're going to have to lean that close to the
Oh,
microphone.
okay.
We can let you know if we can't hear you.
All right, like that.
Where do you live, ma'am?
I mean, you know, straight off the bat, I mean, even before she started, now she's leaning into the microphone like, you know, and, you know, this is one of the reasons I don't really have a problem with June, because she genuinely tries to do her best, I think, you know. She cares.
I'm in South Florida.
Do you know Charlie Adelson?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. It was my alarm to come here, down here.
Is it silence now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Wait, let me just check if it's, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I don't want it to.
What is Charlie thinking there? Tell us in the comments what Charlie is thinking there. He's thinking, oh my God, she's such a moron. Her phone is going off in her designer bag that she's just put up on the ledge of the witness box.
News. Okay.
It's okay. Do you know Charlie Adelson?
I do.
How do you know him?
He's my ex-boyfriend.
Do you see him here in the courtroom?
I do.
Could you please point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's the middle one there with the navy blue suit on.
The record reflects the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect.
When did you date Mr. Adelson?
We initially met in I think it was like February or so, and then
February of what year?
2015.
Okay.
And we didn't speak
Yeah,
for
it's only 8 years ago. She says, yeah, February.
about 8 months. We just had like a brief meeting, and then in October we officially started dating.
October of 2015.
Yes.
And how long did you
So
date?
from February to October. Okay, well, that's 8 months of what? Casually being used.
For roughly 2.5 years,
Does-
like officially.
Okay. Does June of 2017 sound like the correct end of your relationship?
Officially, yes.
All right. And did you continue to talk to Mr. Adelson after the breakup?
We did.
When was the last time you spoke to Mr. Adelson?
A day or so before his arrest,
Okay.
we were playing phone tag, and I was supposed to see him. We didn't see each other for a long time, but I was supposed to see him. I didn't get to, and then I wrote him back. I saw a message from him, and then the next day he was taken away.
All right. So that's obviously significantly after the official breakup.
Oh,
What
right.
was-
This was in April of last 2022.
What was the nature of your relationship after the official breakup? Were you kind of on again, off again, or just casually seeing each other when you were both single, or what was the deal there?
I mean, it was a lot of years that went by after our official relationship. So there were like different periods of times where we were seeing each other and then casual.
Hey, here's an interesting comment from Rock Solid Alibi. She says, Metrix, you crack me up. You say things that would have got everyone else cancelled in a hot minute. Love it. What do I say that would get me cancelled? I mean, I'm pretty, there's no censorship, curse words, opinions. I'm curious what you mean, Rock Solid Alibi. Tell us more.
But we always stayed in touch throughout the years. So,
All right. And do you still have feelings for Mr. Adelson as we sit here today?
So he's my last serious boyfriend. So I would say yes, that there's something still there. I care about him, but obviously I haven't seen him in God knows how long. So.
All right. And do you recall being interviewed by the Tallahassee Police Department in reference to this case on July 24th, 2000?
Maybe it was true love, June. I mean, he was your dream guy. You had a perfect, what would Christopher DeCoste call it? A whirlwind romance. Yeah, I think Charlie, does he have any empathy in there? I mean, he must realize that this girl was super starstruck by him and that he never gave a shit about her, She was just really easy for him to use.
18.
I do.
Okay. And back at that time, when you were interviewed, it had been about 2 weeks since you had talked to him. Does that ring a bell?
Something like that, yes.
Okay. And you had talked to him prior to that interview around your birthday. Is that right?
On the phone, yes.
And when is your birthday?
June 28th.
Okay. So
Well, happy birthday, June, in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days.
that was obviously prior to his arrest, but just a few months before the trial of Catherine Magbanua. Did you talk to him then as well?
I'm not sure. I don't recall when her trial was. I know she had a retrial, so
Okay.
I don't know the date specifically.
Okay, but in one of those trials, didn't you testify that you had spoken to him just the night before that trial?
Right. I mean, we were still talking, so yes, I did speak.
Okay, so I'm just kind of trying to establish in reference to the important dates of this case, you seem to have had some communication with him pretty close in time to those important dates. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But you haven't had any contact with him in reference to what you're going to say here today?
No, not since he got arrested. I haven't heard from him.
Okay. Were you dating him when what we're calling the bump?
Yeah, Neverly Darling says June does care and comes across sweet. However, she did not want to turn on Charlie after all. She still supported him. Yeah, but I genuinely don't think she knows what is going on. I mean, she doesn't come across as someone who, I think her friends are telling her, listen, he's a murderer. He ordered the death of Professor Markel. Which he did, obviously, but I think she's just so naive that she's thinking, well, maybe that's false, and maybe I should stand by him. She's almost like disabled. She's so ditzy. So I kind of give her a pass, you know.
Bump occurred back on April 19th of 2016.
Yes.
And are you familiar with what we mean when we say the bump?
Is that the money extortion thing from?
The thing when Donna Adelson was approached
Yes.
by an undercover officer? Okay, so how far into your relationship with him were you at the time that that occurred? And that's again, April 19th of 2016.
About a year roughly, I would say.
All right, but you began dating officially
Well, from October, so that's not a year. It's
Okay. More like 6 months.
yeah.
What was the status of your relationship, or can you kind of describe for us what your relationship was at that time?
Christina Anderson says June is a former Miami Dolphins cheerleader and a former Miss Boca Raton Petite. Yeah, as well as a Hooters waitress and something else.
April of 2016.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to think of the dates again. So the bump was 2016, you said in April?
Yes, ma'am. So this would be about 6 months into your relationship. Were you seeing each other seriously? Were you seeing a lot of each other? Tell us about
Every
that.
day, yeah.
Every day. Okay. And have you previously described the relationship at that time as a fairy tale?
Back then, yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Hi, Miss Ann Thorpe. How you doing today?
Yes.
Inseparable.
Yes.
Okay. So the two of you were together quite a lot during that time frame.
Yeah, I
Yes.
basically lived there.
Okay. And so you spent most of the time that you were together over at his place?
Yes,
And is that the place on Whale Harbor?
it is.
Okay. And did the relationship change at some, well, before we leave that, when the bump occurred on April 19th, 2016, did Mr. Adelson, tell you about the bump?
No,
All right. So at some point, did the relationship change around this time frame, April of 2016?
I can't say exactly like when it changed because we've had a lot of ups and downs, but I mean, it did change. So I don't know when exactly it was.
Okay. I want to draw your attention specifically to the time frame between April and May of 2016. Are you able to tell the jury about some changes you observed in Mr. Adelson's behavior during that time frame?
I don't know like if it was in that time frame exactly.
Okay. Do you recall giving a law enforcement interview in this case?
I do.
Okay. And that was done on July 24th of 2018.
Right.
Would your memory have been better back then on these issues as far as the dates that things
Does
happened?
it say what date? Like they didn't ask me specifically when, how he was acting when. So I don't know exactly what they meant, like how he was acting, what time.
Okay. So you didn't tell them that he began to freak out around that time and act sneaky and go places without telling you where?
I said that. I just don't know.
Yeah, Leslie, Georgia's very patient with June, like you would be patient with a blind cat. You know, there's a bit, I think it's in this testimony, where Georgia goes up next to her with a document to show her or something, and June's like, "So when is Memorial Day? April?" And Georgia snickers and says, "Yeah, I think it's Memorial Day."
At that specific time frame, if that was referring to that. Like
Okay.
right now, I really have no idea right now.
Okay.
Rock solid alibi. I love the judge's size. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to know what car he drives, or if he had to have one specially made.
At some point, did a reporter approach you in Mr. Adelson's driveway?
They did.
All right. And was that the first that you learned about this murder?
Yes.
So Mr. Adelson had never even told you during your serious relationship with him that his brother-in-law had been murdered?
He mentioned that he'd been murdered, but there were no details. It was just, he said, we don't know who did it and this would happen. So,
Okay. So do you know when this reporter approached you?
like what time or when?
Was it approximately around June 17th of 2016? Does that sound right?
It was right after, like, I think a political holiday because I had a Band-Aid on my arm from a burn that we went to at a barbecue, and it was embarrassing that they took a photo of me with it. So I remember that I still had that.
No vanity here. How dare they take a photo of me without my hand 100% perfect? I had a Band-Aid on about a burn. I mean, I bet it was a designer Louis Vuitton Band-Aid, right?
That Band-Aid on my arm. So it might have been around May or something.
All right.
Maybe Memorial Day.
Are we sure it was in 2016?
Well, there's a picture like the reporter has on the internet. So whenever that article came out, it would be then.
I'll probably should show you an article and ask if this is the one you're referencing.
Yes. So there's the Band-Aid on my arm, as you can see.
All right. And what is the date of that article?
That says June 17th. So when is Memorial Day, May?
Yes. What is the year of the article?
2016.
Okay. So can we agree it was approximately in June of 2016 that you got approached?
I believe it was May, but I think they published the article in June. But yes, around June, May, June.
I thought the reporter had the article with them when they approached you. Is that not the case?
No, I mean the photo. Like he made that article and posted it, like
From the interaction.
story. Yeah, from I guess our candid shot or whatever.
All right. So maybe
Hey, Judy, who's being mean to you, babe?
you were approached in May and then the article came out in June.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And that was when that reporter approached you, that was when you found out that there was this whole backstory to this murder that may involve Charlie Adelson.
I actually didn't find out at that moment. They like ran up to me asking if I'm Catherine, and I had no idea who that was. So I didn't even know who they were.
How come you didn't know who Catherine Magbanua was?
Not at all, no.
All right. So is that the first? Did you eventually find out who she was after you learned that name from the reporter?
Yeah, Christina, you know, that law enforcement interview where, what's his name? What's the cop with the bald head? I forgot his name. I don't really like him. Detective, I've gone blank. Anyway, they go and see her and talk to her, and June's really upset because Charlie's moved in with Bree and they got a dog and she's pregnant and June's been cast aside. And oh, hang on, I forgot who I was talking to. Oh yeah, Christina. Yeah, she keeps trying to deny the statements made in law enforcement interview. Yeah, she keeps going like, yeah, but the law enforcement people, they took advantage of me and they acted like my therapist. So I opened up. And George is like, okay, so because they were acting like your therapist, does that mean you made stuff up to the detectives that wasn't true? And June's like, no.
Yes, eventually.
Who was she?
She was Charlie's ex-girlfriend, and she also worked for another friend of mine at the front desk.
And who's that?
Jerry Obed.
All right. And what was she working for?
Hey, we've just seen that Chris Parks from the chat, resident chat member, has been over to buymeacoffee.com and bought us a coffee. Thank you so much, Chris. And yeah, link in the description, guys. If anyone wants to support the channel, buymeacoffee.com. I think it's an even better way to support the channel than super chat, super thanks, super stickers. But, you know, it's up to you.
Jerry Obed at the time that you learned about her, I guess, learned of her existence?
No, so I guess I met her in the front of Jerry's place once briefly, and then when I heard of her, my mind went back to that day, but I had no idea like her name or anything back then.
All right, so you were confused in May of 2016 for her by a reporter. Yes. Right. And then you learned, oh, she was an ex-girlfriend of Charlie Adelson, right?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay. And then subsequent to that, you realized, oh, that's the girl that used to work for Jerry Obed.
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you. All right. Once you found out about this sort of backstory to this homicide and investigation, did the defendant, Mr. Adelson, tell you anything about how to handle the police if you were to be approached by the police?
He said if anyone came knocking on the door asking questions, I don't know anything. And at that time, I really didn't know anything still. So
he told you not to talk to the police?
Right, because I think he had to go away that weekend or week, and I was at the house by myself. So.
And had he been acting strangely for weeks before that article was published? And again, that article was published June 17th, 2016.
I believe so.
Yeah, it was Pat Sanford, Christina. That's who interviewed her. And Isom's replacement, a woman who I forget the name of, because Isom had already retired by then. But don't worry, he's coming back with cuffs for Wendy. They're gonna throw him out of a C-130 to the so he can parachute to the arrest point. I would. How about that, hey? That you're just about to retire, the biggest case of your career falls into your lap, and the last thing you do before your big party, and you're given a pocket watch with an engraving for your 30 years plus of law enforcement experience. The last thing you do to everyone's going to remember you for is let Wendy Adelson walk right out of the police station. That would ruin my retirement if it were me. And I probably just wouldn't retire. You know, I'd certainly come out of retirement to arrest her, even if it was 10 years later. Imagine if he died before she got busted. That'd be a blow.
All right, tell us what acting strangely means.
I think I said it in my interview that he would kind of run off to places without really giving me an explanation. We kind of had a routine going. We would work, go to the gym, and then every night usually see each other at a certain time. But it was getting to the point where like he was running late or things were happening and I didn't really know the reason. And also I think I just felt like something was different in our relationship.
And did you notice that he had begun communicating with Catherine Magbanua around that time?
The time, which
the
time
2
was
weeks prior to the publication of that article, which was published on June 17th, 2016.
2 weeks before that.
Running Bird, good to see you.
I can't remember exactly when I found out about Catherine Magbanua. Like I know it was after May. So if it was in that 2 week period before the article came out, then
did you say on in your interview with law enforcement that in that time frame you saw him going back and forth with Katie on the calls, like, and I said, oh,
The way that June brushes her hair on the stand, like these little flicks. You catching that, guys? Check it out.
in your interview with law enforcement that in that time frame you saw him going back and forth with Katie.
It's like a nervous tick, isn't it? It's like, I need to look elegant and prestigious. That's straight out of the beauty pageant, isn't it? Tell us about your plan for world peace.
Katie on the calls, like, and I said, oh, why do you guys talk so much? And also you were commenting about the calls being at odd hours and
Clarissa H. Hello.
how you know he's not normally up that early, and that's when you saw the call activity on his phone. Do you remember telling law enforcement that?
I remember saying I saw her name come up or something at some point in time. Again, I don't know if that is the same time, around that time. And also the odd hours thing, I was referring to another girl, I think, that lives in Philippines.
Okay. I'm going to draw your attention to page 72.
I don't have a binder.
I'm going to bring you one. Page 72, lines 7 through 22 on your interview. This is a mini, so if you need to be bigger, I can work on that. But this is 72 here.
Okay.
If you'll read to yourself, lines 7 through 22.
I don't remember that old Pueblo Hops who says, didn't June say Charlie spent all day on WhatsApp with Wendy? I can't remember that. In her law enforcement interview with Pat Sanford? Maybe. Yeah, you've all been slacking off on the likes today, guys. We've got 73 people in the stream, but only 33 likes. What is that about? Now, me, myself, and my sound controlist, we're doing our best for you. But are you doing your best for us? You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a two-way street going on. Take.
Okay,
So let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Are you still maintaining you're referencing another woman in that comment, or were you talking about Catherine Magbanua?
Thanks, Wednesday.
So in that comment, I actually was referring to when I found out the phone records of Catherine and Charlie, like speaking in the morning when they showed how often they would speak on the phone.
All right, thank you.
So,
Did Mr.
okay.
Adelson ever express any interest in or curiosity to you about who had killed his brother-in-law?
Thank you, Seriana.
He just said he didn't know who did it, and it was just like an unsolved blank mystery.
Stevie Love, I'm amazed that we didn't see her lips move.
I'm going to ask you to look at page 34 of that same mini transcript in front of you. And if you'll review lines 10 through 15.
Oh, I see what you've done there, Ian. Good day, mate. June Umchinda.
Just let me know when you're done.
10 through 15? was
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
So yes, I see it.
And didn't you tell law enforcement back when this interview was conducted, quote, if it wasn't him, he never said, oh, I wonder who killed Dan. Or like if it was just him saying, just like fearing, like he used to have like clothes by his bed in case they came to get him and stuff, like in the middle of the night. He was just very scared that they would come and take him. Is that what you said?
So I was saying,
Ma'am, is that what you said?
well, no.
North Queensland? Wow, that's practically Papua New Guinea. What are you doing all the way up there? Get back down to the Gold Coast.
Oh, I didn't say that exactly.
Okay.
I said,
Did
he never said he wondered who
you've
killed
answered the
Dan,
question.
Don't speak over each other. Please wait for her to ask you questions and then answer it.
So the transcript is incorrect.
Judge, improper question. Objection.
Overruled.
Is the transcript incorrect?
As
That's a yes
opposed
or
to
no.
your question, or you mean in general?
The question I asked you. I
It
just
doesn't
read from
match
it.
up to your question, no.
Oh, little heated. What is she getting? She getting picky? June's sticking up for herself here, I think. What is going on? Got to go back a second, guys.
Is the transcript incorrect?
As
a yes
opposed
or
to
no.
your question, or you mean in general?
The question I asked you. I
It
just read
doesn't
from
match
it.
up to your question, no.
Judge, may we go sidebar?
I'm going to request that we not go to sidebar. I have another question to ask the witness.
Very well.
Did Mr. Adelson ever express?
Beautifully done, Georgia. This is my courthouse, okay? I'm running things now. I'm going to request that we not go sidebar. I have another question that I would like to ask the witness.
Any
Said in no uncertain terms, huh?
sympathy regarding the death of Dan Markel in your presence?
I mean, yes.
I'm going to turn your attention to page 84 of the transcript, lines 23 and 24. Page 84, lines 23 and 24.
Andrew Smith. I had to think who that was for a second, Neverly darling, but then I remembered Alpha, November, Delta, Romeo, Echo, Whiskey.
I'm sorry.
You mean section 84? Or?
No, ma'am. It's page 84.
Papua New Guinea. Okay, I'm a little slow on it today, Neverly.
I think I've got the lines wrong. Let me just take a look. Yes, okay.
Of course, most people in the chat aren't going to understand what that means because most of you are only interested in the Adelson case. We went to Stephen McDaniel, we went to Grant Armato, we went to Chandler Halderson, and we got like 10% of the views that we get on the Adelson case. That's interesting, isn't it? Perhaps we need to have some suggestions, guys, for the cases that you all want to see apart from the Adelson case. There's still loads more to come on this case. Lots more for us to get through together as a group, as one unit. But it's not going to last forever. I'm thinking Chris Watts is going to have a lot of legwork behind him, you know? Everyone into seeing a lot of Chris Watts? What about Jodi Arias? Come on. I mean, there's so much for us to work with Jodi. Come on. Huge amount of content. I just hope we pick up the views like we do on Adelson case because, or Markel case, whatever. All three of them and counting. And Sarah Boone, she's coming up in October. We're going to be setting the foundation, laying the scene for the Sarah Boone trial that's coming up. Going to revisit all the content we did already, do that again, and have a look at her latest appearance in court. Did anyone see that the other day? That was hilarious. She starts arguing with the judge about her constitutional rights. She's one of these people that thinks she can win an argument if she says, and you have violated my constitutional rights. And the judge is like, okay, which ones? And Sarah doesn't know what any of them are. It's like the right to bear arms. Okay, well, you're in prison, jail. So that's out. Next.
Was correct, 23 and 24, but you might need to back up a little for context. Didn't you tell law enforcement? That's what was weird to me. I'm always like, well, if you didn't do it, then who do you think did it or something? And he wouldn't ever.
Back up a little for context. June has to do that in every aspect of her life. She's standing at the cashier at the gas station buying some gum. The cashier's like, that'll be $1.40. She's like, wait a minute, can we back up a little for context? Where am I and what am I doing here?
Ever like show any sympathy or anything.
I don't even see on page 84.
All right, thank you. What about, let's go back to Kath.
I know, and you know, I think it should be, you know, if June is going to be interviewed by police, then she should have an appropriate adult with her to help protect against their tactics. I mean, it's all well and good what they got, but you know that Patrick Sanford walked out with the lady cop who replaced Isom, and they did a high five, not believing what they just got out of that interview. And that June's all like, yeah, they showed me sympathy and stuff, so I felt like I could really open up to them. And the detectives who were interviewing her were just loving it. They were like, I can't believe she's giving us so much information.
Magbanua.
Should they be allowed to do that? I mean, you're not allowed to do that with a child, right? You're supposed to have an appropriate adult with a child. But if they're this slow, like June, sweet and slow, you know, I haven't got anything against her. Like I said, you know, I feel quite sorry for her in a lot of ways. And, you know, she seems genuinely like a caring person. She's just, you know, she's not going to be writing a book. Let's put it that way, shall we?
Did you ever actually meet her or just knew that she worked at Obed's office?
I mean, she greeted me when I walked in the door there. So I met her as like somebody walking in really quick.
Okay, but never hung out with her socially or?
No, I don't even think I spoke to her.
Yeah, Christina. Christina says June is more of a boozy brunch date or yacht girl. I absolutely can see her on a yacht. Boozy brunch date, maybe. But I don't think she would eat much. And I don't think she would really drink much. And if she did, she'd have like something really fancy, like a Moscow Mule, you know, or like something served in with dry ice or something. I don't know.
Okay. Was Catherine Magbanua, if you know, the girlfriend that was right before you with Charlie?
I'm sorry, what?
Was she the girlfriend that preceded you or was right before you?
No, I didn't even know about her. There was another girl before me.
Who was the?
Taormina in the house. I think you need to hyphenate your last name, man. Am I saying it right? Taormina. I think so.
Girl that was right.
Hey, another notification from buymeacoffee.com. Anne Marie, thank you so much for the coffee. And yeah, link is in the description, guys. We love the support. It helps us grow the channel. It helps us get equipment. And who benefits from that? Mainly all of you. So, you know, it's all share and enjoy, isn't it? You know, you give a little, you get a little.
Before you.
That I know of, it was Whitney Kick.
How long did he date Whitney Kick?
So initially when I met Charlie in February, I don't know if it was February around then, he was with Whitney at that time. So I think he broke up with her a little before we got together. So
Was there anybody else between Catherine Magbanua and you other than Whitney Kick, to your knowledge?
there was
Okay, who was that?
someone named Jessica.
Okay. Did you ever know of Catherine Magbanua to be employed working for Charlie Adelson?
No.
Running Bird, Rashbaum would be objecting to the facts laid out by the prosecution, but he's too busy refurnishing his condo. He's like, yes. What about in the upstairs bathroom, if we used a light ceramic tile, that would really create the illusion of space vertically, and it is a reasonably short ceiling because above that we've got the observation deck, which I am thinking of installing a telescope on. One of those old-fashioned coin-operated ones that you can get at auction now. Yeah, I wonder if if there are any of those coming at the auction.
During the time frame of the bump, so the bump in April, but prior to Ms. Magbanua's arrest in October, was the defendant picking up communication with Catherine Magbanua? Did you notice that he was communicating with her more?
I don't know if it was that time frame, like I said.
During this time frame,
Judy, I've not noticed anything too mean about June. Am I bashing her? I said she wouldn't be writing a book because she doesn't seem that, literate. People have said something about her big teeth. She does have big teeth. She's very pretty. But, I haven't noticed anything too serious, Judy. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. Are people bashing her? I think it's a divisive witness. Some people really can't stand her, and some people feel sorry for her. I mostly feel sorry for her. I think she doesn't really know what's going on. She's like a child.
that I'm talking about, did the defendant express concerns to you that his phone was being tapped?
I mean, it was probably during that time frame, but he did say that at some point. So.
Were you still dating the defendant at the time that Catherine Magbanua was arrested on October 1st of 2016?
Yes.
What was the defendant's behavior like after her arrest?
I mean, I think around that time, the media got a hold of the story, so there was...
That's not my question. What was the defendant's behavior like after Catherine Magbanua's arrest?
Well, I guess his...
Yeah, she's totally in love with Charlie still. Absolutely.
behavior was just someone that's being convicted of murder. Or not convicted, accused of murder, I'm sorry.
All right. Was he, quote, very scary to be around?
I mean, I might have said that.
You might have said that, or you did say that.
I think I did say that because we had a fight, so I was afraid one time.
Was he, quote, just like angry and different?
I guess he was, yeah.
Was he violent, agitated, and short-fused during that time frame?
I believe so.
Did he have trouble sleeping or being alone? Didn't want to be home? Do you recall saying that?
Yes.
When the case came up, did everything just tick him off?
Yes.
Did he start getting really red and screaming and take random walks, like just acting like a crazy person?
Yes. Yeah.
Did he get a second phone around this time frame and possibly even a
Yeah. June, we're reading what you said. It's in quotes, so you don't need to think about it.
Third phone?
I saw one other phone. I don't know about a third. So
Did he start communicating with you via the WhatsApp application?
he did. He started that because he was also out of the country once, so we started using it then.
Matilda Jaeger, that's your drink, is it? Moscow Mules. Well, you're super fancy then.
Did he sleep with a gun at night? In that time frame specifically?
So when you say sleep, do you mean like physically in the bed or?
You tell me. Where was
So
the gun?
he had guns because he had his carry license. So he had a few at different places. So in his bed.
I love how Georgia can adapt. You know, she puts soft pressure on June. You tell me, where was the gun? And she knows that June sees Georgia Cappleman as an absolute authority figure over her and just wants to do a good job for her authority figure. You know, just knows how to, but it's not aggressive. Georgia has no reason to be aggressive with June. You know, even with Wendy, she's very soft for at least the first two trials. Heat turned up a little bit in the third, didn't it, Wendy?
Bedroom.
But
He slept where he
specifically
slept.
in this time frame, did he change his habits in reference to the gun?
By the way, guys, we've got a full playlist on all of Wendy Adelson's testimonies. We've got the cross-examinations of Mr. Hand Grenade and Christopher DeCoste. We've got all three direct examinations by Georgia Cappleman. I mean, it's right there on the channel page, guys. You know, I know you're all here for the live, but you know, when we're not live, you should be watching that. And when you're not watching that, you should be going to buymeacoffee.com and buying us a coffee. You know, or send a super chat, or like the video, subscribe to the channel.
No,
So
not
he
that I
didn't.
know.
Okay, so he didn't begin sleeping with a gun under his pillow or near his bed where he hadn't before.
Not sleeping with it. Like it was in the room though, so I don't know.
All right. Was
Where?
he super stressed and very affected by the arrest of Catherine Magbanua,
Yes.
but not super stressed and very affected from what you observed by the death of Daniel Markel, was he?
I have no idea about that.
Well, you said he wasn't
Where is that?
in the interview that we just reviewed.
I mean,
where
what
you
line
said,
is it?
'84, lines 23 and 24, which we've already done. I think you couldn't find page 84.
No, but I think I know what you're talking about. I think I was speculating on it. He didn't say.
He wouldn't show like any sympathy or anything, right?
I mean, that was
Anne-Marie, we got your coffee, babe. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You are a superstar and we love you.
my opinion, but I have no idea if he did or not.
Well, the question was, did he express it to you?
I think his actions did, but he didn't physically, like, verbally say it.
His actions expressed grief over the death of Dan Markel? What were those actions?
Well, I mean, just somebody concerned, upset over this tragedy and everything.
But that's the opposite of what you told law enforcement in your law enforcement interview.
Well, that
isn't
was
it?
like a long time ago. That
So
was
has your
probably
memory
7 years ago.
Has your memory improved since 2018?
Regarding what?
This incident and Charles Adelson.
Regarding what? It's a rhetorical question, June. kind of. Regarding what? Astrophysics. Where's the video gone?
Adelson's lack of remorse over the death of his brother-in-law.
So after that, after whatever I said, obviously it's been a lot of years. So he probably
Hey, we just need 7 more subscribers, guys, to get to that 700 landmark. Let's go. There's 75 of you in the stream. There's 7 of you that haven't subscribed for real. Come on, do us a solid.
expressed sympathy after I said that.
All right. What about his mother, Donna Adelson? Did you know her?
I did.
How was she holding it together during this time frame where the bump was occurring, after the bump occurred?
I think she was also stressed out.
Did you observe her to be crying or appear as if she had been crying?
Old Pueblo Hops. She's not Vietnamese, if that's your question. She's Thai. She's from Thailand.
I've seen her like that before, yes.
Did she tell you she was on painkillers for stress?
She may have, I'm not sure.
Did you notice that Donna Adelson was really involved with her grandchildren?
I believe she was.
And was that Wendy's kids?
Yes.
Specifically? Did Donna Adelson ever express any concerns to you about who killed Dan Markel?
Mary Bartlett. Yeah, the link is in the description. If you want to buy us a coffee, you can just go to the description. You click the link and it's right there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No.
Did you say to law enforcement that the Adelsons weren't ever curious, like who really killed him? They weren't upset about it, it seemed like. Did you say that?
I might have said it.
Page 50, lines 19 through 23.
"81 people in the stream tonight, guys. You know, we haven't hit 100 yet on any stream. I wonder if we could get to triple digits, huh? Oh, we've gone down to 80. Someone left? How dare they?
Okay, so what were you asking? I'm sorry.
Did you say, quote, like they weren't ever curious, like who really killed him? They weren't upset about it, it seemed like.
I did, and I was speculating again, so.
Did the defendant ever say anything about something he did coming back to him?
Where is that?
Why don't you answer the question first?
Wait, what was, you said something coming back.
I love when Georgia gets frustrated with her as well. It's like, okay, come on. There's a limit. Just answer the question and then we'll look it up, okay? And it was so funny when oh, hey, we just got a super chat, guys. From who? From who? From Mary Bartlett. Thank you so much, Mary. We love you too. We love you too. We do. Yeah, June is in the law enforcement interview, volunteering information, like, you know, just all over the place, all over the floor, all over the walls. She's just volunteering information. And she goes, yeah, I read a horoscope to Charlie. And what was it? It was like something you did a long time ago will come back and you will have to pay consequences or so. You know, it was something not that direct, but it was basically in that area. And he said, whoa, that's so weird and true. And she told that to police.
Back to him, what do you
Yes,
mean?
ma'am. I mean,
It's one of those nuggets of information that police have come across all over the place in this case. You know, like when Luis Rivera told them that Sigfredo Garcia shot a hole in the Prius, and then they went to the Prius and they said, hey, I wonder if there's a bullet hole in the floor, and they pull back the little carpet and they find the bullet hole. They never would have, you know, I mean, you'd think they might search everything, the whole car, but I guess they didn't. But a nice little verifiable element to the story, wasn't it? A bullet hole in the Prius.
did the defendant ever tell you about something bad he did coming back to him?
I think he was referring to a horoscope.
Yes, tell us about that, please.
From what I recall, I think we were just reading horoscopes, and I don't even remember at this point. I'd have to look it up again, but.
Page 109.
Okay.
Did you review this transcript this morning before your testimony today?
I reviewed it beforehand in the email that you sent. So which line was it?
Page 80, I'm sorry. This is page 109, line 9 through page 110, line 1. And the question is, did you say that the horoscope was something about something you did in the past will come back and take a big toll on your life? And he said, quote, isn't that so true? Wow, that's on point, or something.
Yes.
Was this before or after the arrest of Catherine Magbanua?
I really don't remember that part.
Did you ever ask him about what happened to Dan Markel?
I did, yes.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he told me he was shot and they didn't know who did it.
Okay. What about Wendy Adelson? Were you ever around her during the time that you were dating her brother?
Yes.
Did she ever express any concern to you about the murder of her child's father?
I don't really remember too much of it.
Did the topic come up at all regarding
I think a topic about her being a single mother came up, and that's all I remember.
Did she make a comment to you that things were still hard for her even though Dan was gone?
Did she make a comment, you're asking?
Yes.
I think it was something along the lines of that, if I remember.
And did at some point Charlie Adelson tell you that he and Wendy were actually fighting about this case?
He mentioned that at some point in time.
And was Wendy not speaking to the defendant for some period of time because of something to do with this case?
I don't know like how long the time was, but I believe, yes, she wasn't speaking to him at one point.
And did you know what the thing having to do with this case was that caused them to not be speaking?
I have no idea.
During the time that you were dating Charlie Adelson, I think you said you would stay over there at the house in Whale Harbor. Was that every night or most every night?
Every night. Maybe one night, like we missed, like, or if he was out of town, then.
During the time that you were over there, did you have an opportunity to observe large amounts of cash in his residence?
I've seen cash there. So.
All right. And are you aware of a large safe that's there in the residence?
There is a safe.
Okay. And during the time that you were dating him, did he have money in that safe, cash?
I believe so.
All right. And did he have thousands and thousands of dollars, stacks of hundreds? Did you say that?
That's an interesting question, old Pueblo Hops. Did they play the video in this trial? I don't think they did. And it was audio recording, not video. Maybe they thought it was too long. Maybe they just got the key points and decided that was enough probative value. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I believe at one point in time.
Did you say, quote, hundreds are like dollars to him?
I did say that.
Did you say that, quote, all of his money is like stapled together, the hundreds in bundles?
I believe I did say that.
Do you need to review the statement?
No, I mentioned like the staples. I just don't remember the bundle part. Are those my exact words or?
Page 42, lines 22. I'm sorry, 42.
Yeah, it wasn't bundles. I said stacks, or any noun of grouping.
Lines 20 through 22.
Okay, I see it.
And did you say all of his money is like stapled?
Christina, I think me and you must have the same birthday or something. I say things and then I scroll down and you've said the exact same thing.
All of his money is like stapled together, the hundreds in bundles.
Yes.
After your breakup with Mr. Adelson, has he made any large purchases on your behalf?
I don't know.
You don't know?
After our breakup?
Yes. Like, has he bought you a big ticket item? A car? A condo?
No.
Has anybody tried to tell you what to say here today?
No.
Has anybody?
Just myself.
Has anybody told you, I don't know, to forget what you said in that interview? Did anybody instruct you to do that? Is my question.
No.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Take your time.
Is there any water around?
You know now. You'll be off the witness stand soon.
Okay, thanks.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
All right, well, let's start right there. Good afternoon. My name is Dan Rash.
Well, they're not letting her have any more water before cross-examination? Surely they can get her a bottle of water.
Hi, good afternoon.
Have we ever met before?
No,
Have you ever seen me before in your life?
I saw you on the internet, but no, never in person in my life.
Fair enough. Have I ever talked to you on the phone?
No, I got a subpoena from you the other day to attend trial here, but I've never physically heard from you.
Has anyone from my office, my colleague Kate Myers, anyone from
Mary Bartlett, should I say my birthday on the internet? That seems a little unnecessary. Yeah, I don't know if I should do that.
my team at all ever reached out to you about anything?
No,
Okay.
I was actually surprised you didn't get a depo or anything from me. So
I never deposed you, right?
no, I haven't heard from you or Charlie or anyone.
Okay. So let's just make that clear. Let's clear up a couple other things. Professor Markel was murdered in 2014.
Right.
Did you know Charlie Adelson in 2014?
No.
You didn't start dating him until, I think you said, give or take, October of 2015, right?
That's right.
So any type of feelings he had about the murder of Professor Markel in 2014, you wouldn't know anything about that, right?
Right.
Okay.
February. I am born in February.
We're going to do a little bit more of this in a little bit, but that
What's SSN?
time period that Miss Cappleman was asking you that you were confused about, where Charlie was acting odd.
No, Irish. I'm a Pisces, so that narrows it down to about a week.
Right.
You know what the bump is, right?
The Donna thing, the
Yeah,
extortion.
Where law enforcement approached Donna Adelson on the street.
Yes.
You probably watched it on TV.
Yes, everywhere.
Right. And you know there was a wire involved in that, correct?
I do.
And that's the point in time that Charlie Adelson was acting kind of weird, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Let's go back a little bit. When you dated Charlie, did you go out a lot when you were dating?
It was like 50-50, but yes, in the beginning we went out a lot every weekend. If we could do nights sometimes too.
Did he work a lot?
A lot.
He started early in the morning and came home late.
Yeah, he'd work a lot of late nights. You know, sometimes he'd go out with wearing a lot of cologne, you know, to work, and he'd come back, and one of his patients had left lipstick on the collar of his shirt, you know, because he's a dentist and he deals a lot with mouths. So yeah, he did work a lot, especially at nights and on the weekends.
At night a lot of days?
Almost pretty much every day, but like Sunday and Saturday sometime. Saturday, Sunday.
And he worked most of the time 6 days a week.
Yes.
And his work would take him all over the southern part of the state, right?
Right.
He'd be in.
Yeah, his work would take him all over the state to various nightclubs, because he would do dentist and periodontics at the clubs. And sometimes strippers would need an implant, and he'd have to go and do that on site. But he worked a lot.
In the car a lot, right?
Yes.
When he dated you and he was in the car, did he bother you a lot by calling you all the time while he was driving?
He knew I was at work.
See you later, Irish. Remember, drive safe and always wear a belt.
And we would see each other before leaving the house. And then when we got back, so he didn't have a need to really call me on his way to work. He would text me, and we would text sometimes throughout the day if I had a chance.
Well, thank you, M. Skate.
Now, you said Charlie keeps a lot of cash at his house, right?
I probably said that, yes.
Okay. And he staples his cash, correct?
That's what I saw, yes.
Okay. And again, you saw this cash at his house in 2016, right? When you dated him, well after the murder.
Oh, yeah, well, way after that, yeah.
Now, there is this discussion about a gun and sleeping with it. He keeps a gun in his nightstand next to his bed, right?
Right.
Are you aware that habit started on July 18, 2014?
I have no idea.
But ever since you knew him, he kept a gun on his nightstand, right?
Not on it.
In the drawer in his nightstand.
I
Apologies.
think it was in his safe and in the car. But
By the way, his house has a lot of camera equipment, right?
yeah,
Like a lot of camera equipment, right?
yes,
Are you aware that that camera equipment was installed within 2 weeks of Professor Markel's murder? Are you aware of that?
no,
But it was there when you were there, correct?
right.
How about the barbed wire behind his house? He has barbed wire, right?
Yes,
Are you aware that that was installed after Professor Markel's murder?
no,
Rashbaum's just making it up now. It's probably not even his barbed wire. People have put it up to keep Charlie off their property. It belongs to the other house.
Did you ever go to the Adelson Institute?
I did.
Did you see all the camera equipment there?
I didn't notice.
Yeah, we got the camera equipment specially installed very covertly, so no criminal or Latin king would be able to see that their activities were being monitored. Yeah, you wouldn't even know they were there.
Now, I think you talked about this, that there were a lot of, that media was starting to come around, right?
Yes,
And this was in 2016 after the bump and after some arrests
right.
and after the Tallahassee Police Department released an affidavit saying that Charlie Adelson was part of the murder. Do you recall that?
Right.
And you asked him and he said he didn't do it, right?
Hearsay.
Sustained as a self-serving hearsay.
Move to strike.
Members of the jury are to disregard the last
Question by Mr. Rashbaum. Please continue.
Did Ms.
was it?
Cappleman just ask
What was that question?
that Charlie Police Department and after the Tallahassee Police Department released an affidavit saying that Charlie Adelson was part of the murder? Do you recall that?
Right.
And you asked him and he said he didn't do it, right?
Objection. Hearsay.
sustained as a self-serving hearsay.
Move to strike.
Members of the jury are to disregard the last
Question by Mr. Rashbaum. Please
Well, that was
continue.
pretty basic, wasn't it? Talk about dropping the ball on the witness, Rashbaum. I can't believe this guy got paid. And you know, another thing that I just don't understand, and we see it all the time, if you're guilty and you're on trial and you lose and you go to jail forever, don't go on record saying that your attorney did a great job and that you wouldn't change anything like Charlie and Donna did on the recorded jailhouse calls, because your best, probably when on a case like this and a case like many others, when the evidence is just insurmountable, the judge was following the letter of the law to the letter. You know, your best chance of an appeal is probably ineffective assistance of counsel, right? So you need to be basing that, or you need to get another appellate attorney to say, yeah, there was hostility and tension between and Mr. Rashbaum refused to do the defense that Charlie wanted, and Charlie was so being monitored in jail that he didn't have the opportunity. That's your best bet. You know, So to go on record saying, yeah, Rashbaum did a great job and we love him and we're going to hire him again for my trial, is a bad idea.
Did Ms. Cappleman just ask you whether you asked Charlie Adelson about the murder?
Not in the same context, but yes, basically.
Judge, may I go sidebar? I want to make sure I don't step on.
I think we've got time for one more plug before the end of this witness, guys. So if you want to support the channel, you can send us a super chat, a super sticker, a super thanks. You can buy us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. Link in the description. And also in the description is a link to the Discord server where you can join the conversation 24/7 with all of our core community fans. And what do we do there? Well, we talk about the show. We talk about the crimes that we cover. We talk about which crimes we're going to be covering next. And whatever, It's a direct line. It's a direct line to me and all of us on Discord. And also buymeacoffee.com, which is awesome. How many cups have we had tonight? At least 3, 4, 5 cups. And that's why we're still awake, because what time is it where I live? It's 1:30 in the morning. What time is it in California? Well, it's not even lunch. And also remember to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, because we've got a lot of more Adelson footage coming out. Then we're going on to Sarah Boone. Then we're doing Ezra McCandless from up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Very good case, guys. You don't want to miss any of that. A lot of coverage to cover as well. A lot of interviews, a lot of interrogations, a lot of backstory, a lot of excellent court footage. Good attorneys on both sides, to be honest. More on the prosecution. Really good lead on the prosecution for that case. The judge, I can't really remember what I thought about the judge. He took kind of a back seat. But anyway, we're covering a lot of cases, guys. Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell.
You may continue with your examination.
Let me ask it this way. After you asked Charlie Adelson if he knew anything or participated in the murder.
Oh, thank you, rabbits. You're so sweet.
Did you continue to date him?
Yes.
Did you continue to stay at his house almost every day?
Yes. We were every day until we broke up.
You didn't have any worry about your safety, right?
No.
By the way, during this time period.
Oh, can I interrupt you? Sorry. I did have a worry about,
Hold
oh,
on. They're going to need to ask you the question. You just don't get to start offering statements unless it's clarifying the last question.
it was clarifying it.
Then you may clarify your answer as to the last question.
So, I'm sorry, the last question one more time, because now I forgot it.
Please ask again.
I have forgotten it as well.
Did you continue
You to stay at his house and spend time
Wow,
with him.
she really threw a spoke in the works there, didn't she? She completely interrupted the attorney, forgot the question she was asked. She's trying to clarify the question, but the answer to the question, but can't remember what it was. So this should be good.
I believe that was the question.
Now I remember. Okay, you asked if I felt safe. So at one point in time, he was getting death threats and all this stuff. So at that time when we were together, I kind of felt unsafe with people recognizing us or something like that.
Did you ever feel unsafe? Do you ever think that Charlie Adelson was going to hurt you?
No.
Now, during the time after these media reports, etc., did Charlie take trips overseas?
Yes.
Did he always come back?
Yes.
Did he once tell you he wasn't withdraw?
That's an interesting point, Christine Green, who says she didn't know that Wendy had family in Austin or somewhere in Texas. That would make more sense. Someone for her kids to be with if she goes to jail. She would rather die than let the Markels have custody. So my question to that is, the Markel Act that gives paternal, grandparents, gives the rights to grandparents to have custody or to have access to the children if the parent were found to have murdered the Professor Markel in this case, which is a Florida thing. It's Florida that doesn't have as standard those kinds of rights for grandparents. So has Wendy decided to move out of Florida to Texas, where that situation would be different somehow? Because the acts that the Markels have been pursuing, that Wendy has said on record in court is unconstitutional, by that statement alone, it shows that she's vexed at the idea of this act being passed, right? So she's going to be putting in all sorts of her little sneaky lines of defense against it. Maybe this move to Austin is, we need to have, what's his name? Carl Steinbeck come on the show. He's from Texas, isn't he? And explain to us what rights grandparents have in Texas in a situation like this, because it would be different than Florida. And if the act is only relevant to the legislature in Florida, maybe that's why she's moving to Texas.
Ms. Cappleman asked you about how he was angry, how he was upset. Do you recall those questions?
I do.
At that time, there were Dateline specials being aired, right?
Yes. More than Dateline, but.
And what was his reaction to these media reports?
I think he was just flustered and stressed out and a ton of different emotions.
Was he angry?
Yes.
Now, you were interviewed by law enforcement in 2018. I think that's what we established finally today, right?
Yes.
And your testimony then was essentially the same as it was today, correct?
My testimony, from being, yes.
They asked you pretty much the same questions.
Yes. We just went over my transcript basically. So.
That was in 2018. There's nothing today that they asked you different, is new from 2018, right?
No, my memory just didn't remember the dates, but no.
But their questions were the same. There's no new topic.
Right.
When was Charlie Adelson arrested?
I believe it was April 2022.
So 4 years after they asked you those very same questions, correct?
Correct.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
One moment, Your Honor. Just double check. Has Charlie ever told you to lie?
Has he ever told me a lie?
Yeah.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
He has, yes.
He's told you to lie?
Oh, I thought you said a lie. I'm
Has
sorry.
Charlie ever told you to lie?
No, never.
No further questions.
Redirect examination.
If he has told you a lie, he's never told you a lie.
Right.
So the defense was trying to get you to move the time period of when Charlie was acting crazy and angry to when the news articles were being published.
Right.
But in your law enforcement interview, you articulated that he had been acting weird for weeks prior to that first news article. Isn't that right? And you didn't
That's
know
what
why.
I remember. Yes.
Ma'am? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And did they raised, didn't he tell you? He didn't have anything to do with it. Did he tell you that he had purchased a vehicle for Ms. Magbanua or given her a vehicle?
He didn't tell me, but I saw that in the 2020 thing and asked him about it.
Okay, and he admitted he gave her a vehicle.
He said his father, it was an old car that his father,
Did he give her a vehicle?
I don't know.
Did he mention giving her or contributing to a breast augmentation for Catherine Magbanua?
He said he never contributed to that.
$82 in the stream, guys. We're so close to that 100 marker. How are we doing on subscribers right now? Let's check it out. If we got to that 700, oh, so close. 695. We just need 5 more, guys. Come on, there's 5 of you out there that are listening to this right now that are not subscribed to the channel. Do us a favor. Do Rabbit a favor. Do our core community a favor and subscribe to the channel. Loads more content coming, guys.
If you'll look at tab 1 of the binder in front of you, the trial on May 23rd, 2022 should be your first tab.
Hey, Carol Johnson, we've missed you. Johansson, we've missed you too. We've missed you too. It wasn't the same without you, Carol.
And if you'll look first on page 1197, lines 19 through 24. Are you with me?
Yes. Can you
I
say
haven't
the
asked a
lines
question.
again? What were the lines?
Yes, ma'am. It's 1197 is the page, and the lines are 19 through 24.
Right.
Did you previously testify? Question: did he put you on the payroll at the Adelson Institute after you broke up? No. Do you recall him telling you that he gave Catherine Magbanua a car? Answer: I do. Page 1216.
Thank you so much, Carol. Keep working hard and we will get fancy here. Yes, that is our goal now, guys. To bring fancy fiction in as a fan to this show. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? What an achievement that would be. Good old erudite fancy fiction. And thank you so much for the super chat, Carol. Very appreciated. You are so sweet and we love you.
That's what he said, yes, at the time.
And would you turn to 1216 now?
I'm there, yes.
Oh, okay. And in that testimony, did you also testify? Question: so now your testimony is that he told you he paid for half of her breast augmentation.
He said that at one point, but I think it was a joke.
No further questions.
You may step down. Will the witness be recalled by the party?
No, sir.
Judge, we do have her on the subpoena, so there's a possibility.
You may step down.
Thank you.
Please call your next.
Oh, there's more to come. She's going to say happy birthday to Charlie now.
State calls Wendy Adelson.
Wow. That was like watching the end of Titanic, wasn't it? These star-crossed lovers. Look, what a heartbreaking moment. Big smile.
Wendy Adelson.
Wave goodbye, Charlie. Think about all the women that you'll never touch again, huh? It's been a while, hasn't it, Charlie? How's that prison working out for you, Charlie? Any women in there, Charlie? Hey, M. Skate. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. That was really more of the June Umchinda show than Charlie Adelson's final cross-examination rebuttal by Georgia Cappleman and Daniel Rashbaum. But I think it was pretty good, actually. What a witness. We were going to do a series on June herself, but I think that might be enough for a while. We were going to do, all the testimonies through the three trials. That's 4 cross-examinations, including the two defense counsels from the 2019 joint trial of Sigfredo Garcia and Catherine Magbanua. Anything else interesting happening here? We'll just look for a good place to close out the video, guys.
Sarah.
Oh, here she comes. Look at her in her ugly, ugly shoes. Can we see her shoes?
Adelson, you remain under oath. You may be seated.
Ms. Adelson, we've got 2 points we need clarification on from you.
Oh, this is a recall. I don't think we covered this in our full Wendy Adelson testimonies playlist. Let's just finish it off with this, guys.
When we talked about your relationship with Jeffrey Lacasse, we talked about a occasion on July 13th, 2014. It would have been the Sunday before the murder. And on that occasion, did you, at your residence that evening, in the context of discussing the relocation issue with involving you and your children moving to South Florida, did you say that Charlie, your brother, this defendant, had explored all options to resolve the problem, including hiring a hitman, and it would cost either $15,000 or $50,000?
No.
And did you have a conversation with Jeffrey Lacasse at your residence that night where you said you wanted to share something in confidence with him?
No.
Did you ever say that your brother had seriously hired a hitman where you weren't repeating the joke? You
No.
were serious. All right. And second point for clarification involves that dinner where you got sick at the dinner table.
Could her nods and head shakes be any more congruent? So congruent, in fact, that they almost look specifically intended. You know? No. Shake, 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 shake. Yes. Nod, 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 nod.
You recall which evening I'm speaking of?
I do.
This would have been about 2 weeks to a month after the homicide, I believe. Okay. And on that occasion, did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse that Charlie had referred to the dinner as a celebration dinner?
No.
Did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse
Shake, 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 shake. Nod, 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 nod.
that it was a celebration dinner?
No.
No further questions.
Cross-examine.
Very briefly. Good afternoon. During your interrogation, do you recall Jeffrey Lacasse's name coming up?
Yes.
And do you recall that it was Jane McPherson who brought up his name, not you?
Yes, correct.
And you
Yeah, Jane actually introduced us, which is why she thought of him first. Remember that from the law enforcement interview? We're going to be covering that, guys, again from scratch. Maybe next. Maybe we'll start that next. Maybe we'll start that tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Do you recall, as a result of his name being brought up, he was considered a suspect?
Yes.
And do you recall that Detective Isom asked you a lot of questions about him?
Yes.
Hi, Bob from accounting. You're late. We're just about to close it out, man, but we missed you. We missed you. And you were here in spirit.
And he asked you about his car.
Yes.
And he asked you about his travel schedule.
Yes.
And he asked you for his information so that he could speak with him, correct?
Correct.
But you didn't bring up his name, right?
No.
You didn't try to frame Jeffrey Lacasse for any murder, right?
Absolutely not.
In fact, Jane McPherson was the one who brought up his name, correct?
She was.
I have no further question.
Please approach.
I guess we found our stopping place, guys. Good show tonight, guys. Thanks for all the comments, the support, the super chats, the super likes, the super stickers, and the super thanks, and the coffees, and the subscribers. How are we doing now? Did we make it? Did we make 700? Let's check. 2 more. Okay. Listen, to all you people in the stream, I know there's still 80 of you. We need 2 more subscribers. And it's not like we're not putting out content, okay? Let's do it. Let's get 2 of you to subscribe to the channel right now. Come on, just do it. Okay, let's go through a few of your final comments. We've got Doe saying, Jeff thought Wendy was hot. June would be frustrating. Likely couldn't depend on her for much. I forgot is her soundbite. Yeah, that she would forget things and probably knock things over a lot. You know, wine glasses. Ekaterina, Charlie should have never agreed to take the stand to testify. Thankfully, he had a super mediocre lawyer. Yeah, I don't think he should have. Well, actually, I think it was his only option to testify. I mean, the evidence was so huge against him. He's on recordings, loads of recordings. He's got witnesses saying he was directly involved. I mean, in that sort of situation, your only hope is to take the stand and win the jury over and get them onto your side. But unfortunately for him, he just does not understand how other people see him. You know, he's always thought of himself as above everyone else. So other people's opinions have never really mattered. The only opinion that matters to him is the opinion of his mother, Donna. What a mama's boy. Yeah. So he does look like a mortician. He does, doesn't he? Like a really creepy mortician. I can't feel a pulse. I can't feel my own pulse. Steroids did shrink his brain and probably other things too, like his balls and, you know. That was the last time Charlie saw his sister. How weird is that? That is quite weird. And he'll never see his mother again. You know, how long is she going to last in jail? I mean, she's 74, 73, 74 now. You know, do people live past 80 in jail? Not by much. Okay, here's some goodwill from Matt Teomina, our Italian stallion from down in Texas, from Chapel Hill, Texas. You see, we got memory, Matt. Matt wishes nothing but the best for June. She seems like a sweet girl, and I hope she fulfills all of her wishes and dreams. Well, what a nice thing to say, Matt. And I agree, you know. C. Malone, stop going on about Fancy. Every time I see the name, I get excited. But it's always you just asking if she's here. No, she's not, or unless she's undercover. Maybe you're Fancy Fiction, C. Malone. Oh, nice. Is that 700? We got 700, Rabbit, yeah? Rabbit is our subscriber monitor. Oh no, we're still on 698. Come on, guys. We've got 2 minutes before we shut off the stream. We just need 1 subscriber per final minute. Mskate likes the comment about those weird Canadian Jews. I just want to say that that's not my view. That's what the Adelsons think, okay? Before I catch some heat in the comments, guys. A prize fighter of verbosity. Yeah, he is, isn't he? It would be so annoying to sit down in a restaurant with Charlie and listen to him talk, wouldn't it? About anything. Wow, these comments are just endless, guys. Good job tonight in the comments. One more subscriber. We're not leaving until we get this final subscriber, guys. I'm just going to keep hitting refresh. One more. How many people have we got in there's still 78 people in the chat. Come on. One more subscriber. Then we're closing it out until tomorrow because we're just doing a stream every day, guys. 3 hours of content a day. What more could you want? I'd love to sit in a restaurant with Luis Rivera, especially if he was wearing an owl costume, head to toe, feathers, a mask with a beak, you know. Sing for us to earn subscriber. That's not what we do here, Rabbit. Ryan B, I just got a notification to say that Ryan B has subscribed to the channel. I mean, he's been here for ages. He's one of our residents, Ryan. 700, there we go. Gosh, talk about setting a goal and making it happen. I didn't think we'd get there, guys. I didn't think we'd get there, but we did. We did. I wonder who it was. Who was subscriber number 700? Let us know in the comments. Introduce yourself. Well, it wasn't Ryan. Ryan must have subscribed for time. He's always in and out. Or maybe he unsubscribed and came back in. No, that wouldn't work, would it? All right. Well, welcome, Ryan, even though you feel like a brother. You know, he's from Boston. Big Red Sox fan, but he's over in California. He doesn't know if he's Padres or Angels or friggin' what's the other one? Dodgers. No. Okay. Well, that's a goal achieved, guys. 700. That means we're only 300 subscribers away from 1,000. I don't think YouTube has a category higher. Oh, then we've got to get to 100,000, and then they send us one of those stupid play buttons that says YouTube on it. I wonder if that'll ever happen to us, guys. Probably a way off, but who knows? Anyway, I think we'll, it's just gone 2 o'clock in the morning here in Portugal. So I think we'll leave it with you guys. Carol Johansson says, don't make me bear additional children to have them be able to subscribe to True Crime Metrix. Where's your commitment, Carol? Spit out another 5 kids. Okay, yeah. Thanks all you guys, and we'll see you probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. We need to have a little think about what we're going to be doing. Sticking with the Adelson case for a little while, you know, it's such a popular one. But then we want to navigate through some other cases. But I'm not sure if they're just going to be able to hit the views that the Adelson case has. You know, maybe we should stick with it all the way up until September for Donna's trial. Can you imagine the heat this channel's going to get then? We weren't around when Charlie was on trial, you know? We didn't get the opportunity to, you know, I think I'm going to stop working for the entirety of September and just stick with the trial. Anyway, we'll say goodnight, guys, and thanks again. Be kind to each other, and don't be an Adelson. Just don't. It may look tempting. I know you want that jet ski. I know you want dinner at Matsui or Matsuri, but it's just not worth it. You're better than that. You're better than them. And play it fair. See you later, guys. Good night.